Chosen one. Listen closely. Heaven smiled because of you today. The creator of the stars paused all of creation, not because of thunder or earthquake, but because of your small act of faith. It was simple, quiet, almost unseen, yet it reached the throne of God. He saw the moment you chose love instead of bitterness, prayer instead of complaint, peace instead of chaos. That small choice made the heavens laugh with joy. You thought no one noticed, but heaven always notices faith. Angels recorded it, and the Father whispered, "That one made me smile." You are not hidden. You are not forgotten. You are chosen and seen. Even when you feel invisible, you are standing in divine light. Heaven watches every step, every tear, every sigh. And today, you brought joy to the heart of God, because every unseen moment still echoes in eternity. Heaven is not impressed by grand gestures or loud declarations. It rejoices over quiet faith. When no one else clapped for you, God did. When others dismissed your effort, heaven recorded it in glory. You may think your obedience is small, but in the eyes of the Almighty, it shines brighter than 1,000 suns. Beloved, understand this: the unseen is never unvalued. The world looks for recognition, but the kingdom looks for faithfulness. Your silent endurance carries the fragrance of heaven. Every time you choose integrity when compromise would be easier. Every time you stay kind when bitterness calls your name. Heaven leans closer. That is worship in its purest form. You might not see the harvest yet, but the seeds you planted in tears are already breaking the soil. Heaven counts them one by one. The delay you feel is not denial, it is divine timing. What looks like silence from above is actually preparation. God is aligning doors, people, and opportunities for the one who has chosen light over despair. So do not doubt your impact. Chosen one. You have moved heaven without even realizing it. The Father has written your faith into His story of redemption. The angels rejoice over your perseverance, and the light you walk in will soon illuminate others who are still searching for hope. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar like eagles and endure. Those words are not just ancient poetry. They are your reality right now. You may feel tired. You may feel stretched beyond your strength. But heaven has already decreed renewal over you. You are rising, even if it doesn't look like it yet. You are soaring, even if you still feel grounded. Strength is returning to your spirit because God delights in your endurance. Heaven's laughter isn't careless, it's prophetic. It declares that your struggle is turning into strength, your test into testimony, your pain into power. When God laughs, the plans of darkness shatter. And today, He laughed because you refused to bow to fear. You refused to let despair own your story. You believed. You held on. And that faith, quiet but unbreakable, became a melody in heaven. Your endurance terrifies darkness. Every time you get up and keep walking, the enemy loses ground. Every time you whisper, "I trust you, Lord," walls crumble in unseen places. You are not fighting for victory. You are walking from victory. Heaven already declared it. That's why God's laughter is sacred. It's a sign of triumph already secured. Chosen one. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. Heaven needed you to know how deeply you are loved, how fiercely heaven celebrates your perseverance. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where God wants you to be, on the path that glows brighter the longer you walk it. Do not measure your progress by what others see. God measures it by faith. And today, heaven measured yours and smiled. You may not feel strong, but the Lord has clothed you in strength. You may not see light, but you are the light. Keep walking, keep shining, keep speaking hope where others see only shadows. Remember this truth: you are God's delight, not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. The Father takes pleasure not in your performance, but in your persistence. You carry something divine, something that cannot be defeated. And when you live from that truth, heaven rejoices again. So, walk boldly. Chosen one. Walk with the quiet confidence that your life makes heaven laugh with joy. Walk knowing that even the smallest act of obedience shakes the realms of darkness. Walk in the light that never fades. And if this message touched your spirit, let heaven hear your agreement. Like, share, and comment the number 77 below as a declaration that you choose to walk in the light that delights your Father. And don't forget to subscribe, because your journey of divine laughter and strength is only beginning. You didn't realize that heaven was watching the hidden moment that touched eternity. It wasn't the public victories, the things everyone could see. It was that small act, the quiet decision when no one was watching, that reached the throne of God. In the silence of your room, when the world moved on without noticing your struggle, you whispered a prayer instead of surrendering to despair. And in that moment, eternity shifted. There are moments so subtle that even you forget them. Yet heaven never does. Every sigh, every tear, every silent "I trust you" is a seed planted in eternity's soil. Nothing escapes his gaze. The God who formed the galaxies also studies the rhythm of your heart. When you choose mercy instead of anger, when you bless someone who wounded you, when you give even though it costs you, those are the moments that make heaven sing. Heaven does not applaud noise. Heaven celebrates obedience. And you, chosen one, have walked through dark valleys carrying light. Your perseverance has become a testimony written not in ink but in fire. You think it was just another ordinary day, but God recorded it as divine history. He saw the moment you turned away from bitterness, the instant you forgave, the second you let go of what hurt you. That single act, though unseen by men, was witnessed by heaven. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 56, verse 8. You keep track of all my sorrows. You collect every tear I shed, and you record them all. Can you feel the weight of that truth? Nothing you've endured was wasted. Not one tear fell unnoticed. God himself keeps count, not because he is obsessed with your pain, but because he treasures your trust. Every tear is a testimony that you still believe in his goodness. And those bottles in heaven, they are not symbols of loss, they are proof of divine remembrance. You've walked through nights that felt endless. You've carried burdens too heavy for your shoulders. Yet somehow you kept walking. That is why heaven calls you chosen. You kept believing when hope was a whisper. You stayed kind when life was cruel. You forgave when your heart was breaking. These are not small things. These are eternal things. The hidden moments are the ones that change history. Do you remember when you wanted to quit? when silence seemed louder than any promise. Even then, heaven recorded your faith. The angels marked that day, not as defeat, but as endurance. What felt like weakness to you was worship to heaven, because when you keep moving forward, even when broken, you mirror the nature of Christ himself, the one who kept walking through the cross toward resurrection. Chosen one. You are not just surviving, you are participating in heaven's unfolding story. God is not impressed by perfection, he is moved by persistence. You may not see it yet, but every private yes has built a wall of protection around your destiny. What you did in secret is now being multiplied in the Spirit. The quiet sacrifices, the prayers no one heard, the forgiveness no one applauded, all of it has been turned into divine light. There will come a day when the Lord reveals what your obedience accomplished. You will see how one choice to stay faithful became the key that opened doors for others. You will see how your patience became someone else's miracle. You will see how heaven used the smallest offering of your heart to shake the kingdom of darkness. So today, take a moment to remember those hidden choices. The ones no one thanked you for. The ones that cost you something real. God saw every one of them. He still does. And he smiles not because you are flawless, but because you keep showing up. This is what it means to live as a chosen one, to walk in quiet faithfulness, to trust when no one else understands, to believe that God's eyes are on the unseen. The world celebrates what is loud, but heaven celebrates what is lasting. You are the kind of person heaven remembers, the one who kept trusting, even in silence. And one day, when you stand before him, the Lord will remind you of this very season. He will say, "Do you remember that night when you almost gave up? That was the night you touched eternity. So keep your spirit tender, your heart steady, and your light burning. Heaven has not forgotten you. The hidden moment that touched eternity still echoes in God's heart, and it always will. There is laughter in the throne room tonight, divine. Thunderous, holy laughter. It is not the laughter of mockery, but the laughter of victory. The sound rolls across heaven like waves of light. And the reason for that sound is you. Yes, Nind, the one who chose kindness when anger was easier. The one who kept believing when everything screamed, "Give up." You made heaven rejoice because you chose to reflect the heart of your Father. There are moments when the atmosphere of heaven shifts, when angels pause their songs, when the Father leans forward on his throne, and it happens whenever one of his chosen ones responds to darkness with light. That is what you did. You might not realize it, but your compassion, your patience, your forgiveness, they become music in the halls of eternity. God laughed because you carried his character when life pressed against you. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 31, verse 13. Then young women will dance and be glad, young men and old as well. I will turn their mourning into gladness. I will give them comfort and joy instead of sorrow. Those words still echo across the ages. Heaven delights in restoration. When sorrow turns into laughter, it is not by accident, it is the evidence of grace taking root. The same Spirit that turned mourning into joy in ancient days is doing it again in you. Every time you smile through pain, heaven rejoices. Every time you choose peace, you bring fulfillment to prophecy. You see, God's laughter is not distant. It's not a cold echo from beyond the clouds. It's a living presence that fills you from within. You carry a spark of that laughter, the kind that pushes away despair. that declares, even now, God is still good. It's that laughter that breaks curses, silences shame, and releases freedom. That's why the enemy fears your joy. He knows it's not surface-level happiness, it's warfare. There was a time when your laughter felt impossible. You remember those nights, don't you? When your tears drowned out every melody. But look at you now. The very thing that tried to destroy you has become the foundation of your faith. You are laughing again, not because everything is perfect, but because you discovered that joy is not based on circumstance, it's rooted in eternity. When God laughs, creation trembles. When you laugh with Him, darkness flees. You are joining heaven's rhythm every time you refuse to be crushed by pain. Heaven does not laugh at your suffering, it laughs through it, declaring that suffering will not win. Chosen one, there is something sacred about your joy. It is not shallow, not fake, not borrowed. It is the joy that was purchased by Christ's own suffering, the joy that was promised to those who endure. The enemy tried to silence that joy because he knew it was your weapon. But here you are, still standing, still shining, still smiling. Heaven's laughter now flows through you. Listen carefully, there is power in your joy. It changes atmospheres, heals hearts, and unlocks faith in others. People who cross your path feel peace without understanding why. They see your smile and find courage to face another day. You are heaven's echo on earth. Laughter wrapped in light. Do not hide it. Do not apologize for it. The world needs that kind of joy, the kind that comes from someone who's been through the fire and found gold. The kind that says, I've seen darkness, but it didn't change my light. Your laughter is a testimony that grace works. It says to every demon, every shadow, every fear, you lost. And that's why heaven laughs too, because you finally believe that victory is not far off. It's already here, right now. The Spirit of God surrounds you with gentle laughter, not to mock your struggle, but to lift it, to turn the weight into wonder, the pain into praise. You are standing in that light right now. Breathe it in. Feel heaven's joy rising around you, wrapping your heart like sunlight after rain. And when that laughter fills you, don't contain it. Let it spill into your words, your actions, your presence. Let others hear it and wonder what kind of peace you found. That's how heaven multiplies its joy through you. If this word stirred something deep in you, write these 3 words below: I choose joy. Let that be your declaration today, not as empty optimism, but as spiritual warfare. Because when you choose joy, you silence fear, you invite healing, and you join the laughter of heaven itself. Your faith frustrated darkness. Every time you refused to quit, every time you stood back up, the unseen realm trembled. You didn't realize it, but your resilience became a weapon sharper than any sword. Hell expected your silence. Instead, you kept praying. The enemy planned your collapse. Instead, you praised. You are not fragile. You are fortified by grace. The truth is, every act of faith disrupts the calculations of evil. The kingdom of darkness thrives on fear, doubt, and exhaustion. But when you rise again, when you lift your eyes toward heaven and whisper, still, I trust you, the enemy loses ground. You have become a walking contradiction to hell's agenda. Proof that light cannot be extinguished by shadow. There have been nights when you felt the weight of the battle pressing against your soul. Those were not moments of abandonment, they were moments of proving. The Creator never left you in the storm, He trained you there. Your tears watered the seeds of unshakable faith. Your sighs became signals to heaven that you were still fighting, still believing, still holding the line. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus. It is written in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, "The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still." Those words are not distant history, they are present truth. While you were fighting battles you couldn't see, heaven was already in motion. Angels were dispatched. Protection surrounded you. Doors that were meant to trap you became exits toward destiny. You didn't see it because the fight wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to reveal what could not be broken. You are learning the holy art of stillness. To stand when everything shakes. To believe when logic collapses. Stillness is not weakness. It is strength clothed in peace. When you stand still in faith, you declare to the enemy, "I don't need to fight this in the flesh, God fights for me." And at that declaration, darkness begins to retreat. There are things you have survived that others never knew. You've endured battles in silence, carried burdens no one could name, and yet, through it all, you never stopped walking in light. You may have stumbled, you may have cried, but you never surrendered. That's why heaven calls you chosen. Because when darkness surrounded you, you refused to give it your worship. The enemy expected you to give up after the first blow. He expected your praise to die out under pressure. But your worship only grew stronger. He tried to isolate you, but you turned isolation into intimacy with God. He tried to make you question your worth. But your spirit answered back, "I belong to the Lord." That answer, spoken through your tears, was enough to make hell panic. Understand this, your faith is not fragile, it is forged. Like steel, it was shaped in fire. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every delay became the furnace that strengthened your spirit. You didn't lose faith, you refined it. And now, what once wounded you has become the proof of your endurance. Do you realize what happens in the spiritual realm when you refuse to quit? Angels rally around your persistence. The Father releases new grace from His throne. Heaven's record books mark your resilience as victory. You are living evidence that the light of Christ within cannot be snuffed out. There were moments you thought the silence meant God had turned away, but He was watching in awe, waiting to reveal what had been built inside you. You see, even God delights in what you've become. You are not just surviving. You are a warrior crowned with grace. And though you may not feel victorious, heaven sees the truth you are standing in triumph. Because faith is not proven by comfort, it's proven by endurance. Every trial you endured became a declaration of faith louder than any sermon. Your perseverance preached to the heavens that God's children cannot be broken beyond repair. So now, when you look back, you must realize that what frustrated darkness most was not your power, but your persistence. The enemy has power to tempt, to accuse, to deceive, but he cannot comprehend steadfastness. Every time you stayed in light, you shattered his strategies. You walk through life unaware that your very presence changes the atmosphere. Demons cannot linger where faith remains. They flee from the sound of your prayers. They tremble at your quiet trust. That is why you've been attacked so fiercely, because your faith disrupts the order of darkness. But it's too late for the enemy now. You've already learned the secret. The battle is the Lord's. And so, beloved, chosen one, walk with quiet strength. Let peace be your proof of victory. The war is not yours to carry, it is already decided. You have frustrated darkness with your endurance, and heaven smiles because of your steadfast heart. The light you carry has already won. A father's delight in his chosen one, that is the melody echoing through heaven right now. You must understand this: God does not only delight in your victories, He delights in you, in your steps, your growth, your heart that keeps reaching for Him. You think He only smiles when you succeed, but He smiles when you try. You think He celebrates only your triumphs, but He rejoices even in your trembling obedience. From the first breath you took, His eyes were on you, not as a judge counting failures, but as a father watching his child learn to walk. He saw every stumble, every fall, every rise again. He saw the seasons you ran toward Him, and the moments you crawled through pain just to stay close. And through it all, His love never wavered. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy. It is written in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 8, "The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged." Those words are not a promise from the past. They are a father's whisper to you right now. Wherever you are, whatever storm surrounds you, God is both ahead of you and beside you. He is not disappointed in your weakness. He is proud of your persistence. When a parent watches a child take their first steps, they don't focus on the falls, they celebrate the courage. Heaven does the same. Every time you stand again, even shakily, the throne room fills with joy. You are not defined by your failures. You are defined by your Father's delight. He has watched you grow through pain and purpose. There were nights when you thought the silence meant abandonment, but silence was His way of teaching you to recognize His heartbeat. Like a gardener tending fragile flowers in early spring, He protected you even in what looked like barrenness. While you thought nothing was happening, roots were forming deep beneath the surface. Beloved, your story is not one of wasted seasons. It is one of divine cultivation. Every tear you cried watered the soil of your destiny. Every unanswered prayer became fertilizer for future miracles. God rejoices not just when fruit appears, but when faith endures the waiting. You are the vineyard He loves to tend. There's a sweetness in knowing you bring joy to heaven. God is not distant from your laughter. He laughs with you, sings over you, and delights through you. When you lift your eyes and thank Him, even in the dark, you release light that the world cannot understand. That's how you walk in the Father's delight, by choosing gratitude when life gives you reasons to grieve. The Father's smile is not earned, it is received. You do not work for His affection, you simply remain in it. Like sunlight touching every leaf, His joy surrounds you, whether you feel it or not. Sometimes you sense warmth, sometimes shadow, but even in shadow, the sun has not stopped shining. You are His reflection on earth, His chosen mirror. When you forgive, He sees His heart in you. When you serve, He sees His hands in you. When you love, He sees His Spirit shining through you. And when you fall, but reach out again, heaven sees redemption in motion. Your story touches more than you realize. Every act of kindness, every word spoken in love, every prayer whispered in faith ripples through eternity. People you've never met will walk in light because you refuse to hide yours. God delights in that ripple. He delights in the legacy your obedience is planting. And now, dear one, I want to speak to your heart as a friend. If these words have stirred something inside you, if you feel that warmth, that gentle reassurance of being seen by God, pause and let gratitude rise. Sometimes the purest worship is just a whispered, "Thank you." When you feel led to give back, to sow into the ground that speaks life to you, do it not out of obligation but love. Your support, whether a like, a share, a subscription, or even a heartfelt donation, is like watering a tree whose fruit feeds others. It helps this message of light reach hearts that have forgotten their worth. It keeps the lamp burning in places where hope is fading. Every gesture matters. Clicking that share button is like lighting another candle in the dark. Subscribing is like saying, "Yes, I want to keep walking in the Father's delight," and giving when done from love, not pressure, is like placing oil in a lamp that keeps shining for someone else's night. But above all, remember, you are already God's joy. You don't have to earn His approval. Just keep walking in His light. Keep breathing His peace. Keep reflecting His love in a world starving for grace. And when you lie down tonight, remember, heaven is still smiling because of you. The Father still whispers, "That one is mine. That one made me laugh today." The light you carry disarms shadows. It isn't just a poetic image, it's a spiritual reality. Darkness does not fear loud voices or great crowds. It fears quiet hearts that burn with steady faith. And that's you. You walk through ordinary days, holding extraordinary power. Though you often forget what you carry, you do not realize that every place your feet touch is changed by your presence. You see, the world is not moved by mere words, it is moved by light. And your light is divine, drawn from the eternal flame of heaven itself. It cannot be replicated, cannot be stolen, and cannot be extinguished. The darkness can try to surround it, but every time it does, your faith shines brighter. Every test, every delay, every disappointment has only polished the light within you until it gleams like gold refined by fire. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." That verse is not just a description, it's a calling. You are the beacon, the lamp set high for others to see. You might feel small, unseen, or weary, but heaven calls you radiant. When you forgive, you shine. When you encourage someone else despite your own pain, you illuminate the path for countless souls. That is why the enemy has tried to cover your light with fear and doubt, because it pierces the atmosphere of darkness. But what he forgot is that your light is not self-made. It comes from the source himself. Every time you worship, you refuel from heaven's flame. Every time you speak kindness instead of judgment, the glow intensifies. You have become a walking lighthouse, steady, silent, unwavering, guiding lost ships back to the shore of hope. Beloved, do not underestimate your influence. You think your daily obedience is small, but to heaven, it's monumental. You may not be on a stage, but angels watch from the balcony of eternity, marveling at your courage. When you rise each morning and choose light again, you announce to the spiritual realm that love still wins. Your light is not for decoration, it is for direction. It exposes deception and reveals truth. Sometimes your presence alone convicts hearts, because your spirit carries peace that cannot be explained. That peace is evidence that heaven is near. Remember the times when you felt invisible, when your prayers seemed unanswered. Those were the moments when your light was being purified. Fire doesn't destroy gold, it refines it. Likewise, your trials haven't destroyed you, they've defined your brilliance. Now the same wounds that once bled pain are glowing with wisdom. You've become a torch for others who are walking through the same valley you once endured. And oh, how the Father delights in seeing His light move through you. You are not just surviving, you are illuminating. You are not merely enduring, you are enlightening. You are the living evidence that darkness can press close, but never conquer. Sometimes your light flickers. Yes, there are nights when faith feels dim, but even a flicker in your spirit terrifies the shadows, because it reminds them that light still exists, and where light exists, darkness cannot win. The King who kindled that flame within you has never left it unattended. Even when you feel far, His breath still fans the embers. You may not always feel radiant, but the world feels it through you. That stranger you comforted, that friend you prayed for, that moment you chose peace instead of revenge. All of those moments were heaven's light shining through human skin. And it matters more than you know. One day, you'll understand how many lives were changed simply because you refused to let your light die. Heaven will show you the chain reaction of hope that started with one small choice to shine. Until then, keep walking, keep glowing. The darker the night, the more your light is noticed. And now, pause for a moment. Feel the warmth around you. That's not imagination. That's heaven bearing witness that you are glowing even now. If you can sense that truth deep within, make a declaration of faith. Comment the number 333 below as a sign that your light still burns strong. This isn't just a number, it's a prophetic act. It says, I align myself with the divine light within me. Every time you type it, you reaffirm your covenant with heaven's purpose. You tell darkness, I am still shining. So go on. Chosen one, shine in your workplace, in your family, in your silence. Shine in joy. Shine in pain. Shine when you feel forgotten, because you are the city on the hill, the lamp on the table, the dawn after a long night. You are heaven's light wrapped in human form. And this world is brighter because you exist. When heaven records your steps, it does not count distance, it measures devotion. Every movement of your heart toward God is written in eternal ink. The steps you take in faith, even the hesitant ones, resound louder in heaven than the grandest earthly achievements. You may not see it now, but every decision to trust, every time you walked forward despite trembling, was documented as a victory. You are not walking aimlessly through life. You are walking a path that angels map, a road woven with divine purpose. Every footprint you leave behind glows faintly in the spiritual realm, a trail of light for others to follow. Heaven is not impressed by perfection, it is moved by persistence. You have kept walking when storms tried to drown your song, and that alone has become a psalm written in heaven's archive. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, it is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. You plan, you dream, you move forward, often uncertain of what tomorrow holds, but heaven orchestrates each step with precision. Nothing about your journey is random. Every detour, every delay, every disappointment has been folded into divine design. God's plan is not fragile. It weaves through your mistakes and transforms even wrong turns into right directions. There were days you thought you were wandering, but heaven was guiding you through invisible borders. You thought you missed the mark, yet grace rerouted you. You thought your prayers went unheard, yet heaven was moving things unseen. Your journey is holy, even when it feels confusing. The angels assigned to you have walked beside you through valleys darker than night. They have stood guard over your steps, protecting you from unseen snares. There were times when one wrong move could have shattered your destiny, but the hand of God gently shifted your path. You are still here because heaven intervened countless times when you didn't even know you were in danger. Think of it like this. Every step of faith is a seed planted on the soil of eternity. It may feel small, but heaven watches it take root and grow. The times you prayed when no one else believed, the moments you gave when you had little, the days you forgave when you could have fought back, those were steps that changed history. You walk not only for yourself but for generations. There are people coming behind you who will find their way because you kept walking. Your footprints will be their map. You are building paths where there were none, paving trails through wilderness with your endurance. Heaven sees that, and heaven honors it. Even your stumbles are sacred. When you fall, heaven doesn't erase the record, it adds a note of grace beside it. Because the point was never flawless walking, the point was never giving up. The Father does not demand perfection, He celebrates perseverance. You are learning to walk like Christ, who stumbled under the cross yet never turned back. Every fall became part of the victory. So it is with you. Do you remember the first time you truly trusted God, how awkward it felt? Like learning to walk again. Heaven recorded that moment as the start of your legacy, and every step since has been a continuation of that first leap of faith. Even when you felt like you were walking in circles, you were being taught alignment, learning to match your steps with His. When the path felt endless, heaven saw your endurance. When the road was steep, heaven heard your prayers echo in the mountains. When you walked through shadows, heaven illuminated just enough for you to take the next step. That light was never meant to show you the whole road. It was meant to keep you moving one faithful step at a time. Now, look back. You may not have noticed, but your footprints are glowing with stories of redemption. Every mark tells of a battle won, a temptation resisted, a tear turned into prayer. Heaven reads them like poetry. What you see as survival, heaven calls obedience. What you see as exhaustion, heaven calls faith. And you must know this, not one of your steps has been wasted. Even the ones that led you through pain became paths of wisdom. Even the seasons of silence were training your spirit to recognize the voice of God. You are walking in rhythm with eternity now, guided by hands you cannot see but have always felt. One day, you will reach a place where you can look back and see how every step fit perfectly into God's masterpiece. You will marvel at how the detours brought you closer to purpose, how the valleys made you deeper, how the storms taught you strength. Until then, keep walking quietly, faithfully, confidently. Heaven's record is not finished yet, and every step still matters. You are the journey itself, the living testimony of God's faithfulness written in motion. And heaven, with every breath you take in faith, turns another page in the story of your light. The enemy's confusion over your joy is one of heaven's favorite mysteries. Hell cannot understand how you still smile after everything that was meant to break you. The darkness thought it had written the end of your story. Yet here you are still standing, still shining, still laughing. That laughter is not denial, it is defiance. It is the sound of victory disguised as peace. The powers of darkness study you and fail to comprehend how you endure. They have used isolation, disappointment, rejection, and loss to dim your light. But every blow has only refined you. The more you are pressed, the more oil flows from your spirit. The more you are wounded, the louder your praise becomes. That is the mystery the enemy cannot solve, how suffering has not destroyed you, but instead shaped you into light. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, it is written in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 8, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair." That verse is not just a poetic comfort, it is your life story. You have been pressed on every side, yet you never collapsed. You have been surrounded by confusion, yet hope has never abandoned your heart. Every time the enemy planned to silence you, God whispered strength into your bones. You are living proof that grace can outlast any storm. The enemy expected your laughter to fade when your circumstances darkened. But your joy is not rooted in what happens around you. It's anchored in the one who lives within you. That's why it cannot be stolen. It isn't based on outcomes. It's born from revelation. You have seen too much of God's faithfulness to doubt him now. Hell operates on fear, but you live by faith. Fear reacts to darkness. Faith creates light. Every time you choose joy instead of bitterness, you expose the emptiness of the enemy's power. He cannot touch what he cannot comprehend, and he cannot comprehend the joy of the redeemed. Your laughter confuses hell because it is holy. It flows from wounds that have been healed, from ashes that have become crowns. There was a moment, perhaps in the middle of your pain, when you decided to smile again, not because everything was fixed, but because you realized your spirit was still alive. That was the moment heaven roared in celebration, because joy is the language of those who refuse to die in despair. Joy is not weakness, it is strength in disguise. It says, "I see the storm, but I trust the captain." The enemy tries to make your joy seem foolish, but heaven calls it warfare. Laughter, born of faith, breaks spiritual chains. It announces freedom before it is visible. It confuses every demon that whispers, "You are finished." Because when you laugh, you declare that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a vessel of glory. Even in the quiet moments, when no one sees your resilience, your joy carries weight. It shifts atmospheres. It tells the world that God is still on his throne. The enemy cannot bear that sound. It reminds him of the triumph of the cross, of the empty tomb, of the eternal laughter that shattered the silence of death. Your joy has been misunderstood by others, too. Some thought you were pretending to be strong, but they could not see the divine exchange within you. They didn't know that every smile was a prayer, every laugh a declaration. What looked like optimism was actually faith roaring from deep inside your soul. The truth is, you've learned the secret of joy. It isn't the absence of pain, but the presence of purpose. When you understand that your suffering is not wasted, joy becomes unstoppable. You start to see beauty even in brokenness, light even in loss. You start to dance in the fire because you know the flames cannot consume what God has already redeemed. Hell despises that kind of faith. It cannot manipulate a heart that finds joy in surrender. It cannot intimidate a soul that delights in obedience. The enemy's confusion is proof of your transformation. You no longer respond as the world does. You no longer panic when storms rise. You smile, not because you're naive, but because you've seen what God can do in the storm. Your laughter is a weapon forged in worship. It disarms heaviness, dismantles anxiety, and drives despair into silence. You've learned that tears and joy can coexist. And that's why you're dangerous to the darkness. The enemy thrives in despair, but you refuse to feed him sorrow. You've chosen a higher atmosphere, the one where joy becomes strength and praise becomes power. Beloved chosen one, never apologize for your joy. Don't dim your laughter to make others comfortable. It carries heaven's frequency, the sound of freedom echoing through eternity. When you laugh, heaven recognizes its own tone. That sound is divine resonance, proof that light has already won. And when the enemy looks at you and cannot understand how you're still standing, still believing, still radiant, that's when heaven smiles. Because your joy is no longer just yours, it's God's joy flowing through you. You've become a vessel of gladness in a weary world. And though the battle rages on, the sound of your laughter tells all of creation that victory is already written. There is an anointing that the world cannot imitate, the anointing of holy joy. It doesn't come from comfort, it comes from communion. It is not found in the noise of celebration, but in the quiet heart that refuses to surrender hope. This joy doesn't deny pain, it transforms it. It doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. That's the anointing flowing over you now. Chosen one, joy that cannot be shaken. The world has offered you many imitations of happiness. It has tried to sell you moments of distraction and call them peace. But deep down, you've always known the difference. Happiness fades when conditions change, but joy endures through every season. That is because happiness is emotional. While joy is spiritual, it is rooted in your identity as a child of God. The prophet Elijah spoke as recorded in the first book of Kings, 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is truly God, then follow him. That ancient question still resounds today. Will you follow the fleeting joys of the world, or the eternal joy of the Lord? Every time you choose divine joy, you choose strength. Every time you place faith above fear, heaven releases new oil over your spirit. This oil, the anointing of joy, keeps you from burning out in a weary world. It may surprise you, but the presence of God is often felt through joy more than through miracles. Joy is his signature, the sound of his kingdom moving within you. When you laugh, even softly, after a season of mourning, that is God returning to dwell in your atmosphere. When you feel lightness again after heaviness, that is his presence whispering, I'm still here. This is why the enemy hates joy. It is evidence of relationship. He can imitate blessings, but he cannot imitate peace. He can mimic success, but he cannot produce joy. Because true joy is not a mood, it's a mark. It shows that you belong to heaven. There have been seasons when you've wondered if your laughter would ever return. You've looked at old photos of yourself and thought, I used to smile like that. But here's the truth, your laughter hasn't been lost, it's being reborn. What's returning to you now is not the shallow joy of yesterday, it's the refined joy of one who has walked through fire and found God faithful on the other side. The anointing of joy does not remove sorrow, it transforms sorrow into strength. It makes your scars shine with glory instead of shame. It takes what was meant for your destruction and turns it into a testimony of endurance. You are walking proof that beauty can rise from ashes. When the Holy Spirit anoints you with joy, it's not just for your comfort, it's for your calling. That joy becomes your fragrance. It fills the room when you enter. It draws the weary and reminds them that light is still possible. People feel peace in your presence because heaven has chosen you as a vessel of gladness. You carry joy the way a tree carries fruit. It's natural, it's nourishing, and it blesses all who come near. You might think your influence is small, but joy travels further than you imagine. Your quiet peace at work, your smile toward a stranger, your patience in a heated moment, each of these releases spiritual oil into dry atmospheres. You are an ambassador of joy, though you rarely see how far your ripples reach. Beloved, never despise your laughter again. It is not childish, it is prophetic. It proclaims that despair has lost its grip on you. It declares that even in the valley, heaven reigns. When you laugh now, you echo the very laughter of God, the laughter that confounded darkness at the resurrection and announced, life wins. And when you find yourself in seasons where laughter feels distant again, don't chase it, invite it. Whisper to your soul, joy will return, because it will. The oil of joy never runs dry for those who stay connected to the source. So, right now, if this word stirs something inside your heart, if you can feel that gentle warmth, that whisper that says, yes, this is for me, make a declaration of faith in the comments below. Comment, joy lives here. Let that be your reminder and your prophecy. Because when you speak it, you invite heaven's oil to flow again. You tell your spirit, joy is not gone, it dwells within me. You tell the enemy, you failed to steal what God gave. And you tell the world, the light inside me still sings. You, chosen one, are the living temple of holy joy. Every time you choose gladness over grief, heaven finds another reason to dance. When obedience becomes worship, heaven leans closer. You may not hear trumpets or see angels appear, but every time you whisper yes to God in the dark, eternity moves. It is not the size of your obedience that moves heaven, it is the sincerity of it, the quiet decision to forgive, the unseen act of generosity, the hidden prayer you never told anyone about. All of it becomes worship, rising like incense before the throne of God. You see, true obedience isn't about perfection, it's about trust. It is the language of love, the heartbeat of faith. When you obey, even when you don't understand, you tell God, I trust your heart more than my logic. And that trust is more powerful than 1,000 sermons. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments and walk faithfully. Those words are not rules, they are relationship. They mean that love naturally expresses itself through obedience. When you say yes to God, you aren't following an order, you're answering a love song. You are echoing the rhythm of heaven. Every time you choose obedience, you plant seeds that heaven will water. You may not see the results right away, but nothing sown in obedience is ever wasted. Like a tree planted by rivers, your obedience will bear fruit in its season, fruit that others will taste and find hope in. Sometimes obedience feels like walking through fog. You can't see where the path leads. Yet something in your spirit says, keep going. That's faith. It's like sailing through a storm when the stars are hidden. The sailor may not see the shore, but he trusts the compass, and the compass never lies. Your compass is God's word, and it always leads to light. There will be moments when obedience costs you comfort. You will be asked to release what you thought you needed. You will be called to walk away from what once defined you. But every sacrifice made in faith becomes sacred. Nothing surrendered to God is ever truly lost. It simply transforms. Obedience is like building an altar with invisible stones. Every yes you offer becomes part of it. Over time, heaven sets fire to that altar, and it glows with divine pleasure. That's what you've been doing, building something unseen but eternal. Every prayer, every act of love, every small decision to do right when no one is watching, these are bricks in the temple of your worship. The beauty of obedience is that it never ends with you. Your faithfulness becomes someone else's breakthrough. Your yes opens doors for others. Somewhere, a weary soul is encouraged by your endurance. Even if they never know your name, heaven weaves your obedience into a tapestry far larger than your life. Beloved, if these words resonate with your heart, if they remind you of why you started walking in faith, pause for a moment and breathe in gratitude. You've been faithful through storms most will never understand. You've stayed when others left. You've obeyed when it hurt. Heaven has recorded every moment. And as you receive this word, I want to gently invite you, if this ministry of light has spoken life into you, help it reach more hearts. When you like these messages, it's as if you're lighting another candle. When you share, it's like carrying that flame into someone else's night. When you subscribe, you are saying, I want to walk in this light continuously. And if you ever feel led to donate, think of it not as payment, but as partnership, pouring oil into a lamp that burns for souls you may never meet. Every gesture matters. Even the smallest act of support is like a drop of water feeding a growing garden. You are not just helping words travel, you are helping hope find homes. You are part of this ministry's heartbeat, part of the river that carries God's message to places where despair once ruled. Your obedience to give, to share, to connect, it's all worship. It's not about money or metrics, it's about mission. Each act of generosity says to heaven, I believe in light, I believe in hope, I believe in what God is doing here. So, continue to obey that gentle nudge in your heart. Keep walking in the rhythm of divine love. Remember, your obedience is not small, it shakes realms. And your partnership with this flow of light multiplies its reach far beyond what your eyes can see. You are not only a receiver of the message, you are a carrier of it. Heaven delights when its chosen ones become rivers instead of reservoirs, pouring out what they've received so that others may live. And when you look back, you will see that every quiet yes, every generous act, every shared word became part of something eternal. You will see that your obedience was never wasted. It became worship that touched heaven itself. Divine echoes in the silence. This is where heaven speaks the loudest. You've walked through seasons where the noise of life faded and all you could hear was your own breath, your own heartbeat. You wondered if God had gone quiet, if your prayers were floating unanswered through the air. But what you called silence, heaven called stillness. What you thought was absence was actually presence in disguise. The most sacred conversations between God and His chosen ones are rarely shouted. They happen in whispers, in pauses, in moments so still that only the Spirit can perceive them. Heaven does not need to raise its voice to reach you. It only needs you to stop running. And when you finally stop, when you allow yourself to rest, you realize that the silence was not empty, it was full of Him. We find in the book of 1 Kings, it is written in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, verse 12, "And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper." That gentle whisper has followed you all your life. It has called you out of storms, guided you through confusion, and comforted you when words failed. You have learned that God's voice doesn't always sound like thunder. Sometimes it feels like peace. Sometimes it arrives as a thought, a tear, a sudden understanding that you are not alone. Heaven's communication is different from the world's. It does not demand attention, it invites it. It speaks in layers of meaning that only hearts tuned by faith can understand. You have grown to recognize it, the subtle nudge that says, "Wait," the warmth that says, "Go," the sudden calm that says, "I've got this." You used to crave dramatic signs, but now you've matured enough to treasure whispers. That's growth. That's intimacy. There were days when the silence felt unbearable, when you cried, "Lord, just say something." But in those days, God was teaching you to listen differently. He was drawing you beyond the surface of prayer into its depths. He was stretching your faith until you could trust His presence even when you couldn't feel it. You learned that silence is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the soil where deep roots grow. When God seems quiet, He is not ignoring you. He is forming something in you that noise could never build. The roots of faith do not grow in storms, they grow in stillness. And you, chosen one, have walked faithfully through that stillness. You didn't run away from the quiet. You stayed. You kept praying even when the answers delayed. You kept believing even when no sign appeared. You held your ground, and heaven took notice. The angels recorded those silent prayers with the same reverence as great miracles, because they revealed the depth of your trust. There's a sacred rhythm to God's silence. Sometimes He hides not to distance Himself, but to draw you nearer, like a parent who hides just enough for a child to seek. He invites pursuit. You think you're chasing Him, but in truth, He's guiding you through discovery. Every moment of seeking refines your spirit, deepens your hearing, sharpens your discernment. When heaven seems quiet now, you no longer panic. You've learned to breathe, to rest, to say, even in silence, you are speaking. That realization marks a shift from immature faith to mature love. It's the kind of love that doesn't demand proof, it simply abides. Do you remember how afraid you once were of the unknown? How silence made you doubt your worth? Look at you now. You can walk through quiet valleys without fear, because you've realized that God walks there too. The absence of noise does not mean the absence of God. Sometimes the silence is His embrace. Every saint, every prophet, every chosen one has known this sacred hush. Moses waited 40 days in stillness before glory descended. Elijah heard no voice in the storm, but found revelation in the whisper. Even Jesus withdrew to silent places to pray. You stand in the same lineage, those who learned to hear heaven in the hush. And in that hush, you've discovered something beautiful, the echo of your own spirit aligning with His. You speak, and silence answers, not with words, but with peace, not with explanations, but with assurance. That's how heaven echoes it, reflects your faith back to you. One day, you will look back on this silent season and realize it was not empty at all. It was full of construction blueprints being drawn, foundations being laid. God was not withholding speech, He was building capacity. You were learning to hold more of Him. So now, when you enter the quiet, don't fear it. Welcome it. The silence is not your enemy, it's your sanctuary. It's the place where you stop striving and start sensing. It's where revelation hides and where the Spirit breathes secrets too deep for language. And when you emerge from that silence, your words will carry new weight. Because silence doesn't make you less, it makes you deeper. It chisels you into a vessel strong enough to hold both truth and tenderness. Heaven still echoes through your quiet moments. Chosen one, every sigh, every heartbeat, every pause is sacred sound. You are heard. Even when no word is spoken, you are seen. Even when the heavens seem still. And in that divine stillness, the Father smiles, because the child who once feared silence now communes with it. The walk that lights generations, this is what your journey has become. You once thought your steps were small, your influence limited, your reach unnoticed. But heaven saw differently. What you call a struggle, heaven calls a path of light. Every prayer you've prayed, every wound you've healed from, every act of compassion has become a torch burning for those who come after you. You are not just walking for yourself, you are walking for those who will learn to rise because you did. When the Father chose you, He wasn't thinking only of your lifetime. He was thinking of legacies, lineages, and lives you've never met. Some of the people who will find freedom through your example aren't even born yet. The steps you take in faith today are paving the way for hearts that will awaken decades from now. That is the magnitude of your obedience. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, it is written in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time, it speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. That promise lives in you. The revelation of your life, the purpose that sometimes feels hidden, has an appointed time. You are walking toward it with every act of endurance. Heaven doesn't rush process because it values transformation. And you, chosen one, have been in that process for longer than you know. You have carried light through shadowed seasons. Others would have stopped. But you kept walking. You didn't realize it then. But every time you kept moving, you wrote instruction into the spirit realm for others to follow. You were blazing a trail through dark soil. Your tears watered the ground so that future generations could bloom. The path you walk is ancient and new all at once. Ancient because faith has always been the bridge between man and heaven. New because no one else can walk it quite the way you do. God customized your journey so that your light would reach corners of the world untouched by others. You are not a repetition, you are a revelation. Every generation needs torchbearers, those who keep walking when others stop, who carry light when the wind howls, who refuse to surrender their flame. That's you. You are part of heaven's relay, carrying fire that must not go out. The same light that guided the prophets now burns in you. There are people who will find their way home because you refuse to give up. Your story will be their compass. Your scars will be their reassurance that survival is possible. And your joy, refined by pain, will be the signal that resurrection is real. Sometimes you look at your life and see only fragments. But heaven sees patterns. Each fragment of pain, each moment of healing, each season of silence has been stitched into a radiant tapestry of legacy. You think you're walking through ordinary time, but you're walking through destiny's design. You may wonder why the path feels lonely at times. That's because pioneers rarely walk in crowds. They clear roads that others will one day travel easily. The loneliness you felt was not abandonment, it was assignment. Heaven separated you to shape you, to make your footsteps strong enough to hold others. And though you may not see it yet, the people who will follow your light are already being prepared. They will find courage in your endurance, guidance in your wisdom, comfort in your story. That's why heaven keeps refueling your spirit. It's not just for you, it's for them. So when you feel weary, remember you are part of something eternal. Your persistence is building highways in the spirit. Your faith is writing instruction for hearts yet to awaken. You are heaven's architect in motion. You may not think of yourself as a leader, but every step of integrity you take becomes leadership in the unseen realm. Your children, your friends, your community, they're all watching how you respond to darkness. And when you choose light again and again, they learn what faith looks like when it's real. Beloved, heaven sees how far you've come. The journey has not been easy, but every mile has mattered. There are no wasted footsteps in the kingdom. Even when you stumbled, heaven turned the fall into rhythm, teaching others how to rise. If this truth stirs your spirit, if you feel the fire of legacy burning again inside you, then take a moment of sacred agreement. Make a prophetic act of faith and comment the number 555 below. This number is not random, it's a symbol of divine grace multiplied, of movement, of transition into new seasons. By writing it, you're declaring, I walk not for myself alone, I walk to light the way for others. You are telling heaven that you accept the call of generational purpose, that your steps will leave a trail of glory for others to follow. And know this, every step you take from this point on carries multiplied power. You're not just walking, you're blazing. You're not just enduring, you're inspiring. You are the torch that refuses to go out, and heaven walks beside you with every step. The crown of joy reserved for you has been waiting since before time began. It is not a crown of gold or jewels, but a radiance woven from endurance, faith, and love. Every hardship you've survived has shaped it. Every tear you've cried has polished it. And every moment you chose hope when despair would have been easier has added another beam of light to its design. You are walking toward it even now, step by step, breath by breath, becoming the very reflection of what heaven has promised you. When God crowns his children, he doesn't do it in secret. The entire realm of heaven bears witness. Angels stand still. The stars seem to pause in reverence, because crowns are not given for comfort, they are given for conquest. Not conquest over others, but over self, over fear, over doubt, over the voices that once said, you will not make it. The apostle reminds us in his letter to Timothy. It is written in the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing." That day may seem far, but in heaven's timeline, it is already written. The crown that waits for you is not only a reward for finishing the race, it is a declaration that you have already been transformed along the way. The longer you walk in light, the more your spirit begins to resemble that crown. You've learned what the world cannot teach, that joy is not a gift given when things are easy, but a power that sustains when things are hard. It has been your quiet companion in nights of sorrow, your secret weapon when others expected you to fall apart. Joy, for you, has become strength. It's the echo of eternity whispering, "Keep going. You are closer than you think." There were seasons when the weight felt unbearable, when the horizon seemed too far. You looked at others running fast and thought, "Why am I moving so slowly?" But what you didn't realize is that crowns are forged in endurance, not in speed. Heaven was not measuring how fast you ran, but how faithfully you stayed. Every time you picked yourself up again, angels recorded it as progress. Every time you smiled through pain, heaven added a gem to your crown. The invisible has always been more real than the visible, and your unseen victories have shaped a glory greater than anything this world can offer. There is something deeply sacred about joy after sorrow. It carries a texture that untouched happiness will never know. Those who have never wept cannot laugh with the same depth as you can. Those who have never been broken cannot understand the beauty of being whole again. You have lived through enough to know that joy is not the absence of wounds, it's the healing of them. And that healing glows on you now. Heaven sees it like morning light on the horizon after a long night. The darkness didn't disappear instantly, but gradually, softly, it retreated from your persistence. You have become that morning light for others, a living dawn that tells weary souls, the night won't last forever. This crown you are walking toward is not only for eternity, pieces of it already rest upon you. Every day that you walk in peace when you could choose panic, you wear it. Every time you lift others, even when you are tired, you shine with its light. Every time you praise instead of complain, your crown gleams a little brighter. The world often confuses crowns with comfort, but heaven knows better. Crowns are born from battles. They are shaped in storms, not ceremonies. You are wearing victory that you earned through tears, faith, and surrender. The radiance you carry is not fragile, it's forged. There is a joy coming that will be pure, unending, and holy. It will not depend on seasons or surroundings. It will flow from within you, constant and unstoppable, because it will no longer be joy about God, it will be joy in God. The difference is eternal. Until then, every step you take is preparation for glory. Every breath of gratitude you breathe is polishing the crown that heaven has set aside with your name engraved upon it. The angels know its brilliance, but only you can make it complete through faith that does not fade and love that does not break. One day, you will look back and realize that all the waiting, all the trials, all the unseen endurance was never punishment, it was tailoring. Heaven was fitting your spirit for its eternal adornment. You were learning to carry joy that can outshine sorrow, peace that can silence storms, and light that will never dim. So lift your head, chosen one. The journey is shaping you for something far beyond applause. The crown of joy that waits for you is already forming around your life, glimmering each time you choose faith over fear. Heaven is watching, smiling, and saying, "That one carries my joy well." Heaven's smile in your reflection. This is what happens when grace takes root deep inside you. You begin to see traces of divinity in your own humanity, not because you are flawless, but because you have been forgiven. Every scar becomes a reminder of mercy. Every wrinkle of pain becomes a line of wisdom. Every tear once shed turns into the shimmer of compassion in your eyes. When heaven looks at you now, it doesn't see your mistakes, it sees your transformation. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 5. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. Radiant, that is the word heaven uses for you. It means light reflecting light, glory reflecting glory. You shine not because you are perfect, but because you have spent time in the presence of the perfect one. The light on your face is not from the world, it's from worship, from waiting, from walking through darkness and finding that God was still there. There was a time when you could barely recognize yourself. You looked in the mirror and saw exhaustion, disappointment, and loss. You wondered what became of the bright soul you once were. But heaven never lost sight of that light. While you saw brokenness, God saw a masterpiece in restoration. While you saw failure, he saw faith being purified. And now, as you walk in newness, your reflection begins to align with his image again. Heaven's smile on your life is not subtle, it's radiant. People around you notice it, even if they can't explain it. They say you look peaceful, softer, different somehow. What they are really seeing is the evidence of grace. The storms you survived didn't leave you bitter, they left you luminous. You carry the calm of someone who has wrestled with pain and found purpose within it. Grace changes your posture. It straightens your spirit without hardening your heart. It teaches you to hold your head high, not from pride, but from peace. You've learned that humility isn't shrinking, it's shining without boasting, glowing quietly without needing applause. When you walk into a room, heaven's reflection enters with you, and darkness takes a step back. Every day, God looks at you the way an artist looks at a painting still in progress, smiling at what already exists and envisioning what will soon appear. You are both creation and creator, shaped by his hand, yet choosing each day to reflect his love in your choices. That cooperation, your will aligning with his, is where the reflection becomes clearest. There is a sacred beauty in realizing you no longer have to prove your worth. For so long, you measured yourself by others' approval. You chased validation from eyes that could never truly see you. But now, heaven's smile is enough. You understand that you are not defined by what people think, but by what God declares, and he has declared you radiant. The world measures success by what you achieve. Heaven measures it by what you become. And you, beloved, have become light. Your kindness has become your crown, your patience, your armor, your faith, your fragrance. Even your silence carries peace. You are not striving to shine, you simply do, because his presence has taken residence within you. Heaven smiles every time you extend forgiveness. It smiles when you lift another who is weary. It smiles when you pray in secret, when you worship without words, when you choose gentleness in a harsh world. Each of these moments adds another reflection of his character onto your own. You are learning to see yourself as he does, and that vision changes everything. Sometimes you still look in the mirror and notice the imperfections, the flaws that won't fade. But even they serve a purpose. They are not signs of failure, but of process. The clay must be shaped, pressed, sometimes cracked before it can reveal its final form. God's reflection in you isn't meant to erase your humanity, it's meant to illuminate it. The light that shines through you is not blinding, it's healing. It doesn't demand attention, it offers warmth. People draw near to it because they sense home in it. They sense God in you. And perhaps this is heaven's greatest smile, that your reflection has become a mirror for others. When they see peace in you, they glimpse the Father's heart. When they encounter your grace, they feel the nearness of the kingdom. Without realizing it, your life has become a living window through which heaven peers into the world. So do not doubt your glow. It is not arrogance to know you are radiant, it is gratitude. Each morning when you wake, heaven looks upon you and smiles again, saying, "There is my reflection, walking among creation." And one day, when you finally stand before him face to face, you will realize that the reflection you carried on earth was only the beginning of your eternal brilliance. The call to keep walking forward, it sounds gentle, but it carries the weight of heaven behind it. You've come too far to turn back now. The light you've ignited along your path still needs tending, still needs to burn brighter for those watching from afar. Every sunrise that greets you is an invitation. Keep walking. My child, keep believing. Keep shining. God never asked you to sprint. He asked you to stay. Your pace doesn't disqualify you. Your persistence defines you. You may feel weary, but weariness is not defeat. Even mountains erode slowly, yet they stand firm through time. You are that mountain of faith in motion, and heaven is your foundation. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Philippians, chapter 3, verse 14, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward. That pressing forward is not about perfection, it's about perseverance. The crown you carry is not forged in moments of ease, but in moments of choice, when you decide, despite uncertainty, that your faith will move again. There's something holy about forward motion. Even a single step in faith releases sound in the spirit, like the heartbeat of heaven echoing through time. You are walking not only for yourself, but for the multitudes that will follow your footprints. You are a bridge between generations, a torchbearer between dawns. But you know something else. Walking forward sometimes feels like walking through fog. You can't see far ahead, yet you know that the path exists. You trust the next stone will appear beneath your foot only after you move. That is faith sight, built one step at a time. You have already proven that you can survive storms. You've already shown that light can live through shadow. What remains is to keep walking, not because you must, but because something inside you knows you were born to. Beloved, when God calls you forward, He doesn't erase your past, He redeems it. Every experience, even your mistakes, becomes the soil for new growth. The road ahead is not a rejection of what has been, it's the fulfillment of it. You've been prepared for this next stretch. Every hardship was training your endurance. Every closed door was rerouting you toward open ones you couldn't yet see. So, walk on. Walk when you don't feel inspired. Walk when faith feels quiet. Walk when the ground shakes beneath you. Because movement in obedience is victory in motion. Heaven measures not your speed, but your surrender. If these words find you tonight, if they breathe a quiet strength into your heart, pause and let gratitude rise. This is not coincidence. This is divine alignment. You're hearing this because heaven knows your spirit needed a reminder. You are still on time, still on path, still chosen. And if this space, this flow of words, has become a lamp for your steps, I want to speak to you not as a preacher, but as a companion on the road. When you like these messages, it's as if you're adding oil to that lamp, helping it burn longer so others may find light. 2. When you share, it's like extending your hand to someone lost in the fog, whispering, "There's a way forward." When you subscribe, you're joining a caravan of souls walking the same pilgrimage of faith. And for those who feel led to donate, think of it as planting a seed into fertile ground. Every seed sown here becomes another message, another torch for another heart. It's not charity, it's partnership. Together, we're building bridges of hope across the deserts of despair. Each act of support, each comment, each share is a ripple in eternity. It's the way faith multiplies beyond our reach. You might never meet the person your light reaches, but heaven will make sure your reward is eternal, because every soul touched through your support becomes part of your legacy. And yes, even your comment matters. Sometimes a single line of gratitude or reflection carries healing for someone else reading it. When you write what this message stirred in you, you become a voice of encouragement. You become the echo of heaven's hope. You are not walking alone. Chosen one, around the world. Others are rising just as you are listening, believing, taking one more step in light. Together, we form a procession of endurance, a generation that refuses to stop shining. So lift your head, breathe deep, and walk forward with quiet courage. You've come too far to retreat now. The path ahead is lined with unseen beauty, blessings waiting like unopened letters from heaven. You are still chosen, still guided, still walking under divine light. And as you continue this journey, hand in hand with heaven, remember your step is sacred, your support is seed, and your story is sermon enough. The day God laughs through you will not arrive with thunder or spectacle. It will unfold quietly, naturally, like sunrise spilling across a still lake. You may not even realize it at first. It will begin as peace, as a warmth in your spirit too deep to name. Then, almost without warning, joy will overflow, not just your own laughter, but heaven's laughter moving through you. It will not mock the past or ignore the pain. It will redeem them. It will turn every broken note of your story into a melody of triumph. The ancient words recorded in Romans still echo today. It is written in the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 13. May the God of hope fill you with joy and peace as you trust Him, overflowing with hope. That's the essence of what's coming for you. Overflow, not survival, not simply getting by, but an abundance of joy that pours from your spirit without effort. The laughter that once felt forced will become natural. The smile that once trembled will become strong. The tears that once signified pain will now signify gratitude. This is what it means for God to laugh through you. His joy becomes your default. It will happen after seasons of pruning, when you've lost what you thought you couldn't live without. It will happen when you least expect it. When you're washing dishes, walking to work, or watching the rain, suddenly you will sense it, this wave of joy rising from within, bubbling up like a spring. It will surprise you because it will not come from circumstance, but from presence. You will realize that joy is not something you must chase. It's someone you carry. When heaven laughs through you, it's not careless laughter. It's laughter that carries revelation. It's the sound of victory hidden inside surrender. It's the sound of a child secure in the arms of their father. You've endured enough sorrow to understand its worth. You've tasted darkness deeply enough to appreciate light when it comes. That's why your laughter will be powerful. It will be layered with wisdom. Others will hear that laughter and not understand at first. They'll wonder how you can smile after so much loss. But they'll see the truth in your eyes, the peace that cannot be manufactured. They'll feel the authenticity of joy that has walked through grief and come out glowing. Your laughter will become medicine for weary hearts. People will catch hope from it like sparks from a fire. The day God laughs through you, fear will lose its vocabulary. Worry will no longer have a language to speak in your mind. You'll sense fear knocking, but you'll find yourself smiling instead. Because where perfect joy reigns, fear cannot stay. Laughter is not the opposite of reverence, it's the expression of it. It says, "My Father has already won, and I am safe in his story." You'll notice beauty in small things, again the pattern of sunlight through leaves, the quiet rhythm of your breathing, the unspoken kindness of a stranger. Each of these will feel like heaven smiling through creation, and you'll smile back instinctively. You'll live lighter, freer, no longer defined by yesterday's pain. You'll walk with the ease of one who knows that grace has the final word. This divine laughter will not erase empathy, it will deepen it, because you'll remember what it felt like to live without it. You'll see sorrow in others and know exactly how to reach them, not with empty promises, but with living proof that healing is real. You'll speak peace not as theory, but as experience. You'll carry the fragrance of freedom into every space you enter. And perhaps most profoundly, you'll begin to recognize that your story is not a tragedy, it's a transformation. The pain that once silenced you became the soil where joy grew roots. The tears that once blurred your vision watered your garden. You didn't just survive, you bloomed. And now, when you laugh, heaven laughs through you because your victory is shared. That laughter is worship. It's the sound of restoration completing its work. It's not loud or boastful, it's holy. It rises quietly and fills every corner of your being until it becomes atmosphere. The people who come near you will feel lighter without knowing why. Your very presence will whisper, "God restores." And when you hear yourself laugh, really laugh after all the valleys you've crossed, remember this: it is not just your voice, it is heaven's. It is the sound of joy that cannot die, the melody of eternity resonating in a mortal frame. You are not just a receiver of God's laughter, you are its instrument. So let it flow freely when it comes. Don't question it. Don't restrain it. Let every echo of joy proclaim what your trials once tried to silence. Let heaven's laughter live through you until the world around you begins to remember that hope still exists. Keep walking in this light. This is heaven's final whisper over you. You have journeyed through fire, silence, and revelation. And yet the same voice that called you at the beginning still walks beside you now. Every lesson, every scar, every answered and unanswered prayer has brought you here to a place where faith is not just what you believe, but who you are. The Word of God declares in the book of Revelation, it is written in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 4, He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain. For the old order of things has passed away. That promise is the heartbeat of your path. It reminds you that all the pain that once shaped you will one day fade into glory. You will look back and see that every moment of endurance was not wasted, it was sacred. Every hardship carried hidden purpose, and every delay was divine preparation. The light that you carry now is not borrowed, it is born of those trials. Heaven never intended for you to live in survival mode forever. You were meant to live in flow, in alignment with grace. The strength that once came from struggle will now come from serenity. You are entering a season where peace no longer feels temporary. It settles in you like a second skin. It becomes your way of being. Look at how far you have come. There was a time when you doubted whether you would make it this far. But grace has escorted you step by step. You've grown quiet inside, not from weariness, but from wisdom. You no longer chase light, you carry it. You no longer beg for purpose, you walk in it. This light is not fragile. It's not a candle flickering in the wind. It's the dawn itself rising from within you. It expands quietly, illuminating others without effort. You don't have to strive for influence. The radiance of your being is influence. You've become living proof that the divine can inhabit the ordinary. There will still be nights. Yes, but you are no longer afraid of them. You've learned that darkness cannot undo what God has already lit. The night now feels different. It feels like a backdrop for your glow. You rest rather than retreat. You observe rather than fear. You have grown into peace that surpasses understanding. The kind that holds steady even when nothing around you makes sense. And the Father still watches, smiling. He looks at you the way sunlight looks at water, delighted to see his reflection shimmering through your life. You have become the laughter of God in human form. Your existence tells the story of grace that outlasts grief. Keep walking in this light, not hurriedly, not anxiously, but with quiet certainty. Each day is not a repetition, it's revelation unfolding. You are still being written into the story of heaven's joy on earth. The world may not always recognize it, but eternity does. Angels record each step, not as a task completed, but as worship lived. Now, when you speak, your words carry peace. When you touch, your hands impart calm. When you enter a room, the atmosphere softens. This is not something you try to do, it is something you have become. You are the embodiment of the phrase, light has come, and darkness cannot comprehend it. This is what it means to be chosen, not to be spared from hardship, but to shine through it, not to escape the valley, but to carry dawn into it. You are the living testimony that joy can be reborn from ashes, that laughter can dwell with loss, that faith can make even pain holy. Keep walking, beloved. Keep shining. Keep breathing. Keep being. Not every day will feel glorious, but every day will still be sacred. You've entered a rhythm of grace now, a steady walk with God that no storm can break. You've learned to dance with the seasons rather than fight them. That is maturity. That is peace. That is divine rest. And one day, when all the walking is done, you'll stand at the gates of forever and recognize the sound of familiar laughter, God's laughter, the same one that met you in the beginning. You'll realize it never left. It was walking through you all along. Heaven will say again, "You made me laugh. You kept walking in this light." And the story will end the way it began, with a smile that spans eternity. Chosen one, if these words have found you, if they have stirred even a spark of warmth inside your chest, then heaven has done what it intended. You have walked through 17 movements of divine reminder, each one a flame meant to rekindle your faith, to remind you that light still lives within you. Now, before you move on, pause for a moment. Feel what's happening in your heart. That stillness, that's not coincidence. It's confirmation. You have been seen, guided, strengthened, and now you stand radiant at the end of this journey, not as someone who merely read a message, but as one who became it. Heaven smiles because you stayed. You listened. You walked. And now, the light you carry is ready to flow beyond these words, touching lives you may never meet. That is the true miracle of grace. It multiplies through every willing heart. If this message has blessed you, I ask gently, with all sincerity, let your light respond. Like this message so it shines further. Share it so another weary soul may find their way home, and subscribe to remain connected to this river of words that heals and uplifts. Each small act is more than a click. It's a seed of light, a ripple of hope that can reach corners no sermon ever could. And if you feel led to comment, let your heart speak freely. Tell us what part touched you most, what revelation stayed with you, what memory heaven stirred awake. Your words may be the answer someone else has been praying for. Sometimes a single sentence of truth from your spirit becomes a doorway of peace for another. You are not just a reader, you are a carrier of light now. Heaven's laughter flows through your smile, and the world is brighter because you are in it. So keep shining, keep walking, and let this divine conversation never truly end. Let it live through the way you love, the way you give, and the way you glow.